If you've been watching the news lately, you already know the Philippines is in serious trouble. They've declared a national energy emergency. Fuel prices nearly doubled overnight. Transport workers went on strike. And now, individual cities and provinces inside the Philippines are declaring their own separate emergencies on top of the national one.
The crisis is spreading, and it's spreading fast. And if you're someone who's thinking about visiting the Dominican Republic or maybe making your move here permanently, this is the video for you. What up, what up, what up? What's happening? Relocate, miente. Welcome to Love, Purpose, and Passports. Hope all is well and all are passport ready, or passport getting ready. For those of you that don't know, I am Mr. Pro for you, living in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, with this beautiful wife of mine, Miss Pro for you.
Hola. Hello. Saludos a todos.
So how you doing today, Miss Pro?
I'm doing good, mi amor. Thank you very much for asking, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm not going to look that long in this video because we got some serious things to talk about. But, I'll just take a little gander, a little glimpse over there. Let's start with what's actually happening, in the world right now. This way you'll have a better understanding of why the DR is in a very different place, in a very different position. By now, everybody knows that back in February of this year, the United States and Israel launched military strikes on Iran. Iran fired back, and as part of their retaliation, Iran effectively shut down the Strait of Hormuz.
For those of you who may not know what that is, the Strait of Hormuz is where the world's most critical oil checkpoint is. It's a narrow waterway about 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. It sits between Iran and Oman. And through this little strip of water flows 20% of the entire world's daily oil supply. When Iran shut that down, tanker traffic dropped to almost zero.
Right, and oil prices surged past $120 a barrel at peak.
And countries that depended on that corridor for energy, they felt it almost immediately.
Now, here's where things stand as of this week. And we want to be very clear about this because the situation is still actively developing. Iran has been selectively allowing ships from certain countries to transit. China, Russia, India, and some others who have negotiated directly with Tehran. But this week, the US set a hard deadline for Iran to fully reopen the Strait, or face military strikes on Iranian infrastructure. Iran rejected a ceasefire proposal. Negotiations are happening through intermediaries, but nothing is solved. The Strait is still effectively closed for most of the world's commercial shipping. This conflict is not winding down. If anything, this week is heating up.
Now here's why the Philippines got hit so hard and so fast. It has everything to do with where they get their oil from and how much of it they have stored. The Philippines imports roughly 98% of their oil from the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia, from the UAE, Iraq, all of it flowing through the same Strait of Hormuz that Iran shut down. So when the choke point closed, the Philippines was staring at the source of almost their entire energy supply being cut off.
And obviously that's a huge problem. On top of that, their reserves were at 45 days when the emergency was declared. And that number's been dropping every week since, with no clear resolution in sight while the clock is still ticking.
Yeah, and it's not staying at a national level anymore. See, individual municipalities inside the Philippines have started declaring their own local emergencies on top of the national one because their cities and provinces are running out of fuel. This week, the fuel prices in the Philippines went up again, on top of nearly double increase that they've already absorbed since the crisis began.
And that tells you everything about how fast this is moving on the ground. Fuel prices have nearly doubled. Transport workers are stuck. People are feeling it all across the Philippines right now.
Yeah, and I completely understand why watching that makes people feel really nervous about other places. I mean, including here.
So now let's talk about the Dominican Republic, because the situation here is structurally different. And we want to explain why, not just tell you, don't worry, the Dominican Republic is good.
Exactly. So here's the first and most important difference. The Dominican Republic's primary oil supplier is not the Middle East. It's the United States. Now, the US accounts for more than 39% of the DR's total imports. And when it comes to LNG, and that's liquefied natural gas, 85% of the DR imports come directly from the United States.
And with all the talk about the Strait of Hormuz, some of you may not know that according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, that's the official U.S. government energy data source, only about 2% of total U.S. petroleum consumption comes through the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran closing a waterway between the Persian Gulf and the Indian Ocean does not stop a single barrel of American oil from getting to Santo Domingo. The supply chain from the United States to the Caribbean runs through the Atlantic Ocean, nowhere near the Strait of Hormuz.
The second difference, and this one matters a lot, the Dominican government came into this situation with real financial strength. Nearly 16 billion in international reserves. A fuel subsidy budget is already in place. Tax revenue running ahead of projections. So when global oil prices started rising, yes, they are rising. We're not gonna lie, like the DR is, completely immune to what's going on.
Right.
The government already had some tools in place to absorb the shock. They held a Council of Ministers meeting specifically to assess the impact of the Middle East conflict, and the message coming out was very clear that we have the financial foundation to protect stability. We're prepared.
And that matters more than people realize. That's a big difference between a government that has options and a government that is in emergency mode trying to find oil from Russia and anywhere else they can get it. The DR is not in emergency mode. We pray that it stays that way. Now let's step away from the numbers for a second. As most of you know, we live in Santo Domingo right now.
And frankly, nothing here has changed. You don't feel it. Gas prices have gone up a little bit, but we can't tell because we see the same usual traffic and tapones that we always see.
Yep. The vibe is vibing. The stores are open. The restaurants are full. And yes, the traffic in Santo Domingo is causing the usual headaches and fender benders.
Oh, brother.
And honestly, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
When gas prices get crazy, the first thing you notice is the traffic gets lighter and the motos get quieter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not a bad thing when the motos get quieter, but not for calamity.
No.
And right now, that's not the case. People are moving around, working, and living their lives. Are the gas prices higher than they were a few months ago? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's because oil prices have gone up globally and DR imports fuel, so some of the cost does come through. I mean, we're not going to pretend like it isn't happening. We all feel the gas prices going up.
Mm-hmm. But there's no state of emergency here.
Right.
No strikes, no countdown clocks, no city governments declaring local calamities. That's just not the Dominican Republic right now.
Yeah, and as a Dominicana, I can tell you that nobody here is really like panicking or talking about it. Nobody's making this huge noise about it. And I mean, whenever something happens here, we're known for making a lot of noise about stuff. I mean,
right.
It's kind of what we do.
They don't get quiet about nothing. I mean, they gonna burn some tires, beat some pots and pans in the window at night. Quiet around here.
Yeah.
Everybody's recovering from, Semana Santa, over the weekend, enjoying themselves. So things are pretty normal around here.
Yeah. So if you're someone who's been wanting to take a trip to the DR, or you've been doing your research and you're getting close to making a decision about maybe relocating here, we want to be honest with you, right? Your concern is very valid. We're watching a real crisis unfold in real time in another country. You're asking smart questions. You're doing everything you're supposed to do before you make the move.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you should be doing. But the DR, it's not the Philippines. You know, the supply chain is different, the geography is different, the financial position is different, and the situation on the ground is different. You know, these are not the same countries, and this is not the same situation.
Yeah, you know, my country has been through many, many difficult moments before, and it shows some real resilience. What you're seeing in the Philippines, that level of crisis is not what's happening here now.
You know, and like my wife said, we want to be honest with you, not just reassuring. No country on earth is operating in a vacuum right now.
No.
You know, global oil prices are elevated. The conflict is still unfolding. Strait of Hormuz is still largely shut down.
So, you know, nobody has like a crystal ball where they're going to tell you what's going to happen or they know what's going to go on from here. But what we can tell you is that the Dominican Republic is structurally positioned better than most of the countries making headlines right now. And that's not just us selling you on anything. That's just the reality of where things are at right now.
Yep. So we can't read the future. You know, things could get worse before they get better. And we genuinely hope and pray that this conflict gets resolved sooner rather than later. You know, there are real people being affected by this war in ways that go far beyond, you know, what's happening at the gas pump, you know, and we take that seriously.
We do, yeah.
But in the meantime, here in the Dominican Republic, we are still living our same daily lives, still welcoming people to this beautiful island, and we're still grateful for where God has placed us. And we look forward to this situation coming to an end so you guys can get back to worrying about the real serious things. You know, like, should you order another icy Presidente to go with your chicharron?
Oh, the important questions, yeah.
The serious part. We need you guys to get back to, you know, focusing on the serious things, you know. That's always the right question, though, you know. But before you ask that question, you know what we always want you to do. We want you to like and subscribe. Love, purpose, and passports. Peace.